Alright, it is 9:35 a.m. I didn't have a chance to do just a little recap before the market opened, but in theory, it's the same thing, just looking for morning panic bounce plays with a $30 risk level. I did trade this one with TGGI. The only thing I could have done better is that I probably should have just held a remaining maybe 5 or 10,000 shares and just actually risk my risk level if it actually breaks. Otherwise, just hold on to the setup and see if it can do anything nicer and do a really nice uptrend like it's doing right here. My best sell was at 116.6. Right now it's at 171 by 172. And if this thing can break this level right here at 173, that would be pretty impressive. And then this thing can make a really nice uptrend. This one is a bit harder in terms of trading because it wasn't really like a morning panic bounce play because it had a gap down. If you look at a daily chart, clearly had a gap down. So sometimes you have to pretend like most of the panic, the move is already in, and what you're doing in that case is waiting for some kind of level 2 reversal, or sometimes it hits the bottom, makes an uptrend, and a lot of times it comes back near the bottom of the candle. And in this case it was purely a level 2 reversal. It was struggling right here, but I did like how when it got later to this price again near the bottom, there was a massive amount of people at the bid at 155. So I thought, this thing can really try to do something nice. It looks like it is trying to hit 173. There's a big seller there, but there's also a big person at the bid. That's nice. It did it briefly. Well, nobody actually got executed above that 175. Let's see now. Somebody might hit 175. No, that's the second time it's done that. Yeah, this could top out. It's a scary point right here, right where it could, do something nice, but it might just, I don't know, catch its breath and try again. Now it's at 169. That was a lot of sellers at 17. I'll probably be selling the rest, even if it does turn around later. Just out of, just playing it extra safe. So I was in, and this was a level 2 reversal at 932, which was this candle right when it was about to end. As you can see, it closed at 159. So I was in at 158, 30,000 shares. It was kind of quick. I'm actually not extremely sure if I was able to do a $30 risk. I guess let's find out. TGGI, 30,000 shares, and I was in at 158. Right, so that's 474. In theory, it breaks 154, and then I'm out. Worst case scenario, I get out at 15. 474, $24. So I was actually pretty close to my $30 risk level. $24 versus $30. I guess what, 35 would have been closer, but I don't mind that because I had to do some pretty quick math in the moment, especially because this thing bottomed at 932. Sometimes a lot of these, they bottom around 934 to like 936, so then you have a few more minutes to really calculate a very close just to calculate a very close dollar risk level, position size. I guess at 35,000 shares that would have made more sense, would have been closer. Yeah, that would have been a lot closer to $30, but that's fine. I don't mind that. Just 5,000 shares, I was still kind of close. And yeah, I sold immediately 10,000 shares when it just showed that it was immediately starting to work at 161, and that was at 933. So I sold some right here, 10,000 shares, which is a third of my position size. I accidentally meant to sell 10,000 shares here. I actually sold 1,000 on accident, and that was at 933, which was right still in this candle. And I sold some at 16 right here, 165, and then at 166. So I sold some here, just 1,000 shares, and then 166. I sold more shares, which was right at VWAP, which is always my goal. So if it's having a morning panic bounce play and it's at VWAP, I'm going to be very interested in selling my shares at that price. And then I did sell the rest at 934, at 166, and that was also where I sold my 9,000 shares. So just to summarize, I was in right here. I sold some immediately at 161. I sold some more at 165 in the same minutes, and then I sold 9,000 shares at 166, and then the last 10,000 shares also in the same minutes. It did get to 17. It didn't break this level, as you can see here, but this thing can be a morning panic bounce play, lower low setup. I might be late to it. I think I made like 15 bucks off of this trade. It's nice to trade one that actually worked out. I'll keep watching this. Maybe it can do something interesting. And as for CPIX, oh, never mind, that's a listed stock. Yeah, I thought that was an OTC, but I wouldn't have been interested in it because it was only up one day. I forgot that thing was not you know, an OTC. Alright, it is 9:44. As you can see, there's a big bidder here. Maybe it's gonna do it now, but I would be interested in this morning panic bounce play. Here's a morning panic bounce, and then this one would be a lower low setup. Unfortunately, this one has not really like came back to the original level to play off of, so I'm sized accordingly to my $15 risk because it's not a morning panic bounce play anymore. And yeah, the thing is that they're trying really hard to just push it up right then and there, not really do something that, you know, it drops and then it kind of bounces, makes a big move or a small move, and then it kind of comes back, maybe not all the way to the bottom, but close to the bottom, and then it actually makes the move. But it seems like here this was like a level 2 reversal as well, as you can consider that with the initial morning panic. So I might not be able to be a part of this one, and quite frankly, if it moves too much, you know, and then it comes back to the level, then it might be kind of scary, unless there's like a huge wall of bidders I can play off of. You know, then I probably won't be trading this. I guess I'll look at the listed stocks now. There's nothing here I'd be interested in. I'm not just gonna short this one, even if it breaks like $4, although that could do something nice. This might even be like a short trap right here. Nothing with ILUS, the volume isn't there. I'm gonna remove SPY. I'm not gonna just trade that one unless it looks super clean. AABB has no volume, and CYBL looks like nothing. I wonder if these are turning around. This one's trying to turn around. If you look at the daily chart, RGBP is still dead. They kind of left that one to die off. And then the one I was in that I closed yesterday, it looks like it's trading with a little bit of a spread, but the bottom was 13. There's a bidder at 123, but maybe there's like a hidden bidder at some, you know, supporting it at 13. Looks like it made a run to 13.9. So I guess if any of you actually, which you shouldn't, chase my freaking swing trade, you know, when I bought it, you probably would be profitable unless you hit like a market order and you got executed at a horrible price. So yeah, I pretty much missed this one. It looks a little too perfect. I'd be scared. And it did get to VWAP, which is 161. I'd probably be selling even if it gets to like 19 by the end of the day, which they might very well do, because if this is still important to them, they're gonna, you know, do whatever they can to support it and make it uptrend again. But at the same time, it is in a weird spot on the chart. That was it. That was a morning panic bounce play, lower low setup here. It's nice to actually get one of these again. Now, it wasn't like, you know, just had a downtrend, right? This thing had a gap down, but that was still the setup there. I'll make an update later. Pretty happy with that trade. I don't mind if I don't trade anything else today. I don't want to be eating my words, but yeah, I'll just keep watching and looking for setups. Maybe there are some stocks that are up on the day too. I'll make an update later. Alright, it is 10:08 a.m. I think there's more context behind TGGI now. I understand that it had a gap down in that panic because I guess some promoters or people who were just really against this stock maybe just scared a lot of people out of their positions. And of course, the people who are still, you know, running this stock are still very much interested in keeping it where it is. So what they're doing is basically the most aggressive way to keep their stock up after it just had like, you know, a gap down like it did here. I was thinking about this being maybe like a little baby inverse head and shoulder, shoulder head shoulder. It actually did make a move at 18.5. I need to just be more aware of stuff like that, because if I know that maybe a stock is down because of news or something like that, and they're still very interested in keeping it going, that it's going to be very likely going to do something aggressive. And as for this move right here, it looks like Tim Sykes got in, so that was probably one of the many reasons, not the only reason, why this thing never really came back and how aggressively strong it was. And I'm actually very surprised that it did make a move above VWAP and actually much closer to the top, higher than this level. So that's pretty impressive. But again, that's because they really don't want it to head down. And I don't want to really trade maybe like the inverse head and shoulder second higher low. Maybe if it looks stupid clean and it plays off of here, I'd rather just not trade it and sit back. That's really all I have. I'm not too interested in the other OTCs, and I don't see anything that is really looking nice. I'll take a look at listed stocks, but for right now, that's where it is at the moment. It could try maybe to hold this level and do something later, but I'd rather not trade that. It's 2:09 p.m. and now that it's been some time, I'm gonna make an update with CNTX. Here's another listed stock that did a nice inverse head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder. Even did a head and shoulders, although I'm not really interested in shorting. Right here, and then it did a second higher low. Very nice, because at the moment, when it was trading there, it looks like a nice big blow off, just nice breakout over this level, nice gap up, nice short squeeze, nice volume. And it is a sketchy, I think it's a biotech stock, but it did this here, second higher low. It did another higher low off of that, and it did get to the goal, which would have been for me VWAP 812 to 858, and then it had even more room. It even had a gap up, right? You can call it a gap up here. It was halted, so it was super nice. And then it did it again, shoulder, head, shoulder, inverse head and shoulders. That was a nice move from this 922 level to almost $10, so I guess just under 10%. Yeah, just a little under 10%. And then I traded this one, which did not work, which is fine. Honestly, if I was maybe more focused and less, kind of shaky or scared, if I keep seeing these setups, I'm going to be more and more inclined to trade them, especially if they work. It worked here, really nice move there. It worked here. Unfortunately, what I did trade, it didn't work. The inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, then the second higher low. It was not a successful one, but it wasn't too bad. I ended up losing, I think, just maybe $1, roughly $1, not very much actually. And that was a small position size, because when you're trading, at least when I trade the inverse head and shoulder second higher low here, I risk this level, which is a bit more distance than if I'm trading the inverse head and shoulders, because then the shoulders here, then you have a clear risk level, which is the head. Account for slippage, maybe 887, right? So you do your dollar risk level based off of that. But when it's a second higher low, you never know if it's actually going to be the bottom, while the inverse head and shoulders, maybe it won't be exactly where the other shoulder is, but it's not going to break under the head, or if it does, you call losses quickly, so you have like a more solid foundation on where you should risk and where it could try to play out. While an inverse head and shoulder second higher low, it can continue the breakdown, which it did here, baby bounce, and then it kind of went under again. And then it looked like it was actually trying to do something, because if you look at this one, it was kind of downtrending, putting off wicks, but then it kind of wakes up, right? So over here, it looks like it was trying to do that same price action, but it did fail. And let's just go over the trade. I was in CNTX at, what was it, 126, so right here. So I was seeing it, watching this range, and then when I had this red candle right here, I thought, all right, maybe this is going to be the new low. And, best case scenario, the actual low of the second higher low setup. So I was in at, 126, and that was entry at 944. So maybe not the best entry, but it looked like it was going to actually do something then and there. And there were a few support and resistance levels. I don't remember them anymore, but what happened was is that it just continued to not really work that nicely. I did sell half of my position at 926, and that was 129 right here. Right when it was looking so depressing after I made that wick, I thought, all right, I had this ugly wick. It's right here. Maybe it's not going to do it. Maybe it's just going to keep failing. Let me get rid of half of my position just because it seems like this one is not really going to work. And then if it actually, breaks my risk level, hey, that's totally fine. At least I wasn't full sized. And in theory, let me just finish going over my exits, and then I'll go over my dollar risk. I sold one share profitably at 946 at what was it, 133. Even though it was kind of working, right? I just didn't like it. It was kind of iffy, just a bit sketchy the way it was trading. A lot of resistance under 950, and I did sell one share there, and then I thought, okay, well, now just a tiny position left, 3 out of the 8 shares. Let's see if this one breaks the wick right here, which to me would be the official bottom, at least the bottom I would want it to be on the second higher low, because if you want to base it off of here, which was my original risk level, that's 910. But at this point, if it breaks this, like, it's going to be probably a double bottom. And I don't see those things really work. Maybe they do, but, again, I'm going to risk it off of here, 923, because if it breaks that, it's pretty much near the bottom of the shoulder, and then it's not a higher low anymore. So that was basically the idea there. And then at 137, which was right here, this candle, when it broke it, I immediately cut it. As you can see, the wick was like 922. I got out at 921.5, the last 3 shares, and that was it. And I thought, all right, well, geez, this one looks so sad. Is it gonna break below this level? And it actually did in one big red candle with a lot of volume. So this might have been, it's a speculation, somebody who was trying to sell a whole bunch of shares here. That's why this thing was looking the way it was. And then he said, you know what, screw it, I'm getting out all of my shares. Boom, it just does that big red candle there. Maybe not, I don't know, it's just speculation. So now there's nothing else I'm really interested in trading with this one, but I'm very happy that it at least did something. Shoulder, head, shoulder, second higher low, a third higher low, and then I had this nice crazy run up, shoulder, head, shoulder, and then this one didn't really work out, which is totally fine, but at least I tried. CIPX I think was the other one, right? Or CPIX. This one did a whole bunch of nice inverse head and shoulders the other day as well. If I keep seeing this with listed stocks, I'm going to be more inclined to trade them. And it seems like it's something I can do profitably with listed stocks. This one didn't really work out, but I lost a tiny $1. And let's just go over it. I was in 8 shares, and I was at, what was it, 9? I forgot, honestly. What was the exact level? Yeah, 944. So that's $75, and I'm in it right here. Worst case scenario, big red candle like it does here. It doesn't even try to play out, it just blows up. It breaks this level right here, which would be 910. That's when I place a sell order. But if there's going to be slippage, I get out at 890, which is about VWAP at the time. So 944, 75.50, right? Yeah, that's pretty close to my $4 risk level. I really, couldn't be any closer than that, I think. And, that was it. I played my $4 risk level. Only lost $1, obviously, because once I got in the trade, it didn't immediately just flash a red candle like this and break and, absolutely take a dump. It tried to play out. It wasn't horrible, but, at the end, this thing just really failed, and that's totally fine. And I probably won't trade this if it tries to do an inverse head and shoulder, shoulder head, and then maybe it does a shoulder. I'd rather not after it already failed one, although it can totally do it. I'm just not really that interested in it anymore, although I like how it's trying to hold off of that level there. Let's see if it can do something. I'll probably make an update when the markets are closed. I don't think I'll do anything else. As for TGGI, this thing is super nice because it spent such a long time in the the 18 level, the very nice 1.8 penny cent level. This was a morning panic bounce play I played, and then this was a lower low that I missed, but you know, very aggressive the way this one traded, and that one even broke VWAP and went above it. So this is pretty much best case scenario. I mean, it went from what, like 15 to 18. That is, well, that is like 18%, just under 20%. That is a lot. That is pretty nice. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm gonna keep focusing on OTC's morning panic bounce plays. Unfortunately, if commissions are a thing starting the 6th Monday, I'm only going to trade them if they look super nice, and I'll have to put a lot more size. And yeah, I'll keep working on listed stocks. I guess we'll just we'll see if this thing works out eventually. There's a chance it will, but I just don't want to trade it after it failed the second higher low right there. Okay, it is 7:10 p.m. and I am here to call it off. Overall, I had 2 trades, TGGI and CNTX. The last time I was recording, it was, I think, somewhere around here, and it actually did play out. It made a shoulder, head, shoulder, and even did a higher low. Unfortunately, even though it offered all these inverse head and shoulder setups, the one I took just failed, and the chance that I think this is going to happen again, I think is pretty slim, because it offered so many opportunities that actually played out, and then the one I get in doesn't work. So I think the next time I see inverse head and shoulder setup and I take it, it's probably going to work out just with this odds right here. So I look forward to that and continuing, you know, developing and trying to be more profitable trading listed stocks. That's something I have to keep getting better at. I'm very happy to have traded TGGI, which was a morning panic bounce play, a little different because they had a gap down, and this one offered a very nice lower low setup. That's all I have. I want to make it short and sweet. I look forward to tomorrow. I'm thankful for God for the lessons and trading I did today, and definitely let's try to get more aggressive, considering, you know, more inverse head and shoulder setups on listed stocks. Just a tiny $4 risk. I can totally do it, and I need to push myself to do it. And if it doesn't work out like it did here, that's totally fine. At least the setup does work.